The H1B Guy here, and today, the H1B Guy news for the week ending February 5th, 2021. But before we get started, I'd like to ask you, if you haven't already, to please subscribe to the H1B Guy channel here on YouTube and like this video so that I can continue to produce more content like this for you. I also wanted to mention the H1B Guy offers a variety of consulting services. I help businesses and individuals solve complex work authorization issues and the recruitment process while bringing awareness to employment-based immigration benefits. Today's news is brought to you by RecruiterNetworks.com, the smart solution for digital perm ads since 2001. Well, it's hard to believe that we are wrapping up the first week of February and President's Day is right around the corner. For those of you in the middle of HCap lottery season, bless you. While the electronic filing system has made it more seamless, there are still thousands of work hours that go into the lottery every year. Looking back on my time submitting HCap petitions, it always felt like the first week of February through the last week of March was just a blur. Now, with electronic filings, that's moved up by a month. My thoughts are definitely with all of you who are buried deep in the HCap lottery season. Now, the news. February 1st, 2021. In an article written by Stuart Anderson for Forbes titled "The Story of How Trump Officials Tried to End H-1B Visas." Quote, members of the Trump administration wage war behind the scenes against companies and foreign-born scientists and engineers. After 4 years, telling the story helps explain how Trump appointees turned U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, into an organization opposed to the immigration of high-skilled foreign nationals on H-1B visas. Company executives and H-1B visa holders grew distraught as lives were upended when long-standing employees, often waiting years for their employment-based green cards, were denied H-1B petitions and forced to leave the country. On H-1B visas, the Trump administration came into the office like a lion and exited like a lamb. The administration's policies inflicted much damage over the past 4 years, say companies and attorneys. While Donald Trump often said he wanted merit-based immigration, the war waged against companies, international students, and H-1B visa holders during his administration showed the president and his appointed team had little interest in admitting even the most highly skilled foreign nationals to America. At some point, I'm going to take a deeper dive into H-1B denials for initial and continuing employment during Q4 of fiscal year 2020, as I think the NFAP data can be a bit misleading. They typically lead with new employment denials because they tend to be much higher, while burying the continuing employment denials towards the bottom of their analysis. I'm still of the belief that lower denial rates have a lot to do with the lower numbers of petitions being filed, but let's be honest, we're only talking about a 1 to 4% difference. While it's still a step in the right direction, there's still a long way to go. Let me remind you that denial rates under President Obama's administration were only slightly lower than those during President Trump's administration. If we're going to see any positive change, it's going to be the responsibility of DHS Secretary Ali Mayorkas and his ability to influence a change in culture. The question becomes, is that even possible? Regardless, the point of the article is valid. President Trump's ultimate demise for immigration had as much to do with the policy advisors whose opinions he trusted. In this case, I don't think anyone is shedding any tears for the departure of he who shall not be named from rewriting our immigration laws. February 1st, 2021. In a news release by the Department of Homeland Security titled DHS Statement on Equal Access to COVID-19 Vaccines and Vaccine Distribution Sites. Quote, DHS and its federal government partners fully support equal access to the COVID-19 vaccines and vaccine distribution sites for undocumented immigrants. It is a moral and public health imperative to ensure that all individuals residing in the United States have access to the vaccine. DHS encourages all individuals, regardless of immigration status, to receive the COVID-19 vaccine once eligible under local distribution guidelines. DHS carries out its mission, including all areas within its COVID-19 response without discrimination on the basis of race, ethnicity, nationality, or other protected class, and in compliance with law and policy. Further, DHS supports the equitable and efficient distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine to all populations, including historically underserved communities. DHS is committed to ensuring that every individual who needs a vaccine can get one, regardless of their immigration status. I found the opening sentence of the news release intriguing and questionable at best. Why not lead with all individuals residing in the U.S. regardless of immigration status, instead of only referring to undocumented immigrants? Buried at the bottom of the first paragraph, and then again all the way down at the bottom of the news release, we see the use of regardless of immigration status and regardless of their immigration status. I wanted to bring this up again because we covered this last week on the H1B Guy and Friends Live, where we talked about the travel ban that went into effect on January 26, 2021, that included a list of additional countries. During that conversation, we covered whether or not global travel and return to normal is dependent on the vaccine and your ability to provide proof of vaccination. I think it's important that legal immigrants in the U.S. that are here on temporary work visas are given the same opportunity to be vaccinated as anyone else. This isn't about promoting the vaccine, it's about promoting equality and choice. February 2nd, 2021. In a news release written by Ken Briscoe for Delaware Department of Labor titled, Delaware Department of Labor receives $9,193,902 from the H1B Grant. Quote, the Delaware Department of Labor, DEDOL, works with partners in the information technology IT sector to build pathways through educational training and work-based learning opportunities for Delaware citizens who are unemployed, underemployed, disabled, veterans, and their spouses, including those veterans transitioning out of U.S. Armed Forces, young adults ages 18 to 26, underrepresented women, people of color, or citizens re-entering the workforce as ex-offenders to prepare for jobs and connect with employers in the IT field. Why did the state of Delaware apply for the H1B Workforce Grant? According to available information about Delaware job posting analytics from August 2019 through July 2020, there was a monthly average of over 4,000 job postings for IT opportunities and over 450 hires per month in IT. From 2014 to 2019, IT occupations grew in the state by over 12%, compared with an overall occupation growth rate of 7%. Furthermore, the H1B Workforce Grant will serve over 700 customers interested in obtaining a skill and earn credentials to prepare them to enter mid to high level occupations in the IT field. Awarded credentials include, but are not limited to, industry recognized credentials, certifications, apprenticeship journeyperson papers, degrees or diplomas, etc. The Delaware Department of Labor has partnered with the following employers: Marlette Funding, FinTech IT, CAI IT, WSFS Financial, SSD Technology Partners IT, and Brandywine Technology IT. Delaware Department of Labor connects people to jobs, resources, monetary benefits, workplace protections, and labor market information to promote financial independence, workplace justice, and a strong economy. Does anyone else find this intriguing? As I previously covered on the H1B Guy Reviews, H1B Workforce Grant Program, Department of Labor news release, Quote, the U.S. Department of Labor announced today the availability of $150 million in the H-1B Workforce Grant Program to invest in training for middle to high-skilled H-1B occupations within key sectors in the U.S. economy, including information technology and cybersecurity, advanced manufacturing and transportation, to upskill the present workforce and train a new generation of workers to grow the future workforce. The state of Delaware, which just so happens to be the state that the current president hails from, is receiving 16.3% of the $150 million from this grant. As I previously stated, I don't like the name, but I digress. The little old state of Delaware, with an estimated population of 990,334, has received more than 10% of the overall grant. Think about that. Now, I'm not sure when other states will be announcing their awardants, but I'd imagine it'll be pretty soon. But I did find it ironic that Delaware, of all places, is the first state to make it public. February 4th, 2021, in a notice of action filed by the Department of Homeland Security titled Modification of Registration Requirement for Petitioners Seeking to File, Cap Subject H1B Petitions, Delay of Effective Date. Quote, the department is delaying the rule's effective date until December 31st, 2021 because USCIS will not have adequate time to complete system development, thoroughly test the modifications, train staff, and conduct public outreach needed to ensure an effective and orderly implementation of the H-1B selection final rule by the time the initial registration period will be open for the upcoming fiscal year 2022 H-1B cap season. During the delay, USCIS works through the issues associated with implementation. DHS leadership will also evaluate the January 8th rule and its associated policies, as is typical of agencies at the beginning of a new administration. DHS is accepting public comments on this delay until 30 days after date of publication in the Federal Register. You may submit comments on the entirety of this final rule package, identified by DHS docket number USCIS 2020-0019 through the Federal e-rulemaking portal. Filed February 4th, 2021, 4:15 p.m. Publication date February 8th, 2021. Signed DHS Secretary Ali Mayorkas. Well, last but certainly not least, we finally have an answer. And yes, I was wrong. I spent a good bit of time during the H1B Guy Live, unedited and unscripted Q&A 11 on Wednesday, talking about the H1B lottery for fiscal year 2022, where I said it could happen as early as Wednesday afternoon or even tomorrow. Well, I guess I was right about that in terms of clarification. And I also covered it on USCIS implementing wage-based selection for the H-1B lottery the H-1B Guy approves. I still think wage-based selection has a high probability of happening now for fiscal year 2023. I do want to make a few points on this. I am planning to put out a much longer post breaking down all the details in this release, but it sure seems like this is 10 pages of excuses on why they can't do it this year. I found it interesting that it was released 2 days after DHS Secretary Ali Mayorkas' confirmation. Is that why they were making everyone, including all employers, all beneficiaries, wait 2 weeks? Well, regardless, we have an answer, and the H-1B lottery can proceed as usual. Now the question remains, will USCIS receive more than 200,000 HCap petitions for fiscal year 2022? If you remember back in my 7 predictions for 2021, I said that USCIS will receive under 200,000. This definitely puts that in jeopardy, but we'll know in a matter of months if I was right on that. I've also heard the rumors of lawyers threatening a lawsuit on wage-based selection because it violates the INA. And I've also seen legal counsel for big tech speaking out against this rule. The question is, why? Why do immigration attorneys or big tech care if the HCap lottery is wage-based selection? Well, the answer is always the same. Money with $5. Wage-based selection means fewer petitions being prepared, which means fewer legal fees being billed by immigration attorneys. Think about it. The need to have multiple petitions filed on behalf of one individual to increase the odds of selection is significantly diminished in wage-based selection. Wage-based selection also means driving up the overall salary compensation of the individual employee. Gone would be level 1 and level 2 selection, reducing cheap labor. So this is where big tech's influence comes in. Is it better to file thousands of petitions at a much lower wage level for random selection, or fewer petitions with a much higher salary for wage-based selection? That, my friends, is the million-dollar question. What do you think? Leave me a comment below. I'm really curious to hear from you. One thing's for sure. The value of obtaining an H-1B visa has never been higher. To read the full post on the H1B Guy news for the week ending February 5th, 2021, please check out the H1BGuy.com. Don't forget to sign up for the mailing list while you're there. And a reminder, today's news was brought to you by RecruiterNetworks.com, the smart solution for digital perm ads since 2001. This national job board network provides recruitment websites in 1,024 major U.S. metro areas. Each local job board is its own portal and is a low-cost resource for immigration recruitment ads for all industries and professions with a flat price of $225 per ad, regardless of which city you choose. RecruiterNetworks.com has been the #1 place for immigration attorneys, immigration ad agencies, and employers to meet the DOL requirements for the digital portion of the perm advertisement rules. RecruiterNetworks.com. Tell them the H1B guy sent you. Just want to ask you again, please like this video, subscribe to the H1B Guy channel here on YouTube, and click the bell for notifications so that you're notified anytime we post new content here to this channel or that we go live like we did this past Wednesday. If you've made it this far, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch my content. I really appreciate your support. The H1B Guy, your global source for all things H1B.